It's World AIDS Week, and the St. Barnabas Health Systems wants to make sure that our youth are well informed about AIDS. Here to tell us now more, we welcome the director of St. Barnabas Hospital's Teen Center, Caroline Davis. And we thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Great. And as we're here, obviously World AIDS Week, a busy week for you guys as well. Really spreading the message about HIV, AIDS, and give us a little bit about it.
Well, we partner with some other organizations, particularly Bronx Knows campaign, and worked with other youth development organizations here in the Bronx, and celebrated World AIDS Day. Was actually Thursday, December 1st. And so Friday we actually celebrated it by having people get tested for HIV, making people aware. Some folks gave testimony of what it means to live with HIV. And actually just made a celebration that we can talk freely about this, and that here in 2016 it is preventable, you know, so.
And that's a big message, because in the beginning I think a lot of people just feared the death sentence automatically,
Correct.
right?
Yes.
And now we know that, you know, it is preventable and also treatable.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, we know that there's no cure, but the idea is that to bring awareness, to be educated, and to make decisions that you can live with, you know. Once you are infected with HIV, there's no turning that around, but you can have a healthy lifestyle.
Talk to us about the governor's plan. Obviously, he wants to do some things in terms of trying to reduce HIV and AIDS, and he's working really hard in New York State. You guys are right here with boots on the ground. How's it working for you? I mean, it's a lot of awareness that goes on, but then it also, like I told in the last segment, there has to be some buy-in from the public. Are you finding that there's more public buy-in?
Absolutely, especially from our young people. And what you're talking about is the epidemic of ending the epidemic for 2020. And the Bronx is in the lead with that when it comes to New York City. We are, out of all 5 boroughs, doing the top testing. You know, we have the most people coming out getting HIV testing. We lead Brooklyn, Manhattan. So our young people are getting the message. And, you know, we like to stand firm on saying that it's not our responsibility to tell people to have sex or not to have sex, but that if you're making this decision, that you're educated about it.
So give us a little bit about the SBH Teen Center.
So the Teen Health Center is currently being funded by a program called Comprehensive Adolescent Pregnancy Prevention. Unfortunately, our funding does end in December, but we will be doing some of the similar work with a new contract called Sexual Reproductive Justice, and that's until June. And we focus on making our young people aware that a decision you make about your health can impact you in all areas of your life. And most importantly, we want our young people to be exposed to things outside of the Bronx, and yet still embrace the power that they have to be a Bronx resident.
So when we talk about the receptivity from the young people, talk about that, because you're talking about some real heavy issues, the HIV, AIDS, and you're also talking about sex, and we know that sometimes they're not so talkative on that matter.
Well, funny enough, I think my team and I built relationships with our young people, and the things that we hear are definitely not the conversation that you might want to have with your mom and your dad all the time, but having these real, raw conversations allow young people to ask the questions that they don't normally get the opportunity to ask. So I definitely think one of the things that makes our programming successful, or I say the very top thing, is building relationships, that young people trust us enough, and so they feel empowered to make decisions. And it's not just about sexual activity. Again, it's holistically.
And if somebody's out there watching right now saying, listen, you know, I got to have this conversation with my young person, really try to be able to talk to their child, what advice do you give them? Because as you said, it starts with building relationships, but we understand that some parents have great relationships, but this is almost like taboo in the house.
Absolutely. Definitely, they can come by the Teen Health Center. We have clinic sessions Mondays and Thursdays. Sessions are 11 to 7, where it is actual clinic hours. Monday through Friday, it's 9 to 5. Myself and my team are available. There's free condoms that can be picked up, and we give out information to help parents and teens have those conversations and ask those hard questions.
Those hard questions definitely need to be asked. And so when we talk about World AIDS Week, a lot of people are becoming more and more familiar. The message is out there. What do you think people are taking away from this, and what do you want people to take away from this, given the fact that we are seeing some great advancements and some great progress being made?
Well, I think one of the biggest things that we're having a conversation, right? Unfortunately, there's still discrimination around HIV and AIDS. You know, from the simple things of recognizing that HIV is the virus and that you don't have to get full-blown AIDS. That is a consequence for not taking care of yourself if you know you're not aware that you're HIV positive. So I think that's a plus, that people desire to have the education and the conversation is taking place. Personally, I think we need to pay attention that we're still having this conversation 30 years later, and that how the history of it has started looking as though it was a gay white man's disease, and now we're looking at the numbers of HIV being black and brown. So that's something that we really need to pay attention to, and it's in low-income environments more so. And it's like, what happened to have this shift in 30 years? So something we definitely need to pay attention to.
If people want more information, what do they do?
They can definitely reach out to email myself, Caroline Davis, the director, cdavis@sbhny.org, or they can look at the website, sbhny.org for teens.
All right. Well, Caroline, thank you so much for coming and sharing with us and continue the great work.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All righty, Caroline Davis. We want you to stay tuned with us. We're going to have some more show. There will be more open right after these messages. We'll be right back.